प्रक्रिया। So let us start today the electro part of emotional intelligence. Now, so till yesterday, we simply analyzed that what is the significance of emotional intelligence, and most importantly, there I also mentioned to all of you that what are the components of emotional intelligence, what is the meaning of emotional intelligence. If I have to again recapitulate that, I did explain to all of you that it is basically a skill to not only understand one's own emotions, but also to understand the other's emotions, and accordingly you develop a skill, a social skill, to empathize with others and at the same time to achieve any organizational goals which is required to be successful in any organization. So of course, for that purpose only, you need a skill that is known as emotional intelligence. So we discussed till this aspect only. Today we have to see a couple of more aspects of emotional intelligence. One is the ways to acquire emotional intelligence. Since we have discussed it yesterday that emotional intelligence is largely a learned behavior. A learned behavior, that's what I think we have come down to this conclusion yesterday. So we need to simply understand that how can one acquire emotional intelligence. If it is a learned behavior, then anyone who perhaps might be given some sort of exposure to the idea of emotional intelligence, he or she can easily learn the concept or the aspects of emotional intelligence. So that's the reason why we have to see how to acquire emotional intelligence today. So in today's class, we are going to see how to acquire emotional intelligence. Fine. So let us see that. As I told you that emotional intelligence is a learned behavior. And what is learning? Learning is a relatively permanent change in human behavior. A relatively permanent change in one's behavior, which is different from the earliest behavior or earliest, you can say, responses, having some new skills, new responses, new informations, new knowledge. That aspect is actually defined as a learning in psychology. So learning is nothing, it is all about relatively permanent change behavior. So relatively permanent change behavior is actually called as learning. Fine. And the most important thing about learning is that learning is, of course, a learned behavior. So since it is learned, largely we learn every aspects of our behavior, or most aspects of our behavior, from our environment only. So in that sense, emotional intelligence can also be learned from the environment only. Now the point is, what kind of learning goes on with emotional intelligence? Because learning also can be defined in various types. Learning can also be defined in various types. Alright, what we call in psychology, that is classical conditioning, operant conditioning, behavioral or observational conditioning, observational learning. There can be many types of learning. Now, which type of learning is in emotional intelligence? So it is largely understood or largely observed by the scholars or the psychologists that learning is mainly an observational behavior, or emotional intelligence in that way is an observational behavior. So emotional intelligence is learned by an individual through observations more. Through observations more, and that is what is the opinion of the group of psychologists and group of scholars. तो उनका मानना है कि इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस जो है पहले तो एक लर्न बिहेवियर है, और चूंकि ये लर्न बिहेवियर है तो एक टिपिकल काइंड ऑफ लर्न बिहेवियर है जिसको हम कहते हैं ऑब्जर्वेशनल लर्निंग। मतलब साफ साफ है कि हर कोई व्यक्ति ऑब्जर्व करके भी इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस को सीख सकता है। सो अ पर्सन कैन लर्न इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस इवन थ्रू ऑब्जर्विंग अदर्स, एंड that is how the psychologists, they actually have given a very strong opinion upon this, because what they say that we are not trained, especially in society, we are not trained neither at our family nor at our school that how to respond your emotions, how to express your emotions. Yet we handle ourselves, we manage ourselves in every social setup nicely and amicably by responding in an appropriate amount, by responding in an appropriate amount of our emotions. Now that learning, that expression of emotions in a very appropriate and a very rational amount is indicative of that we also learn emotional intelligence with our own observations without even having any teacher, guide, or maybe any guidance over there. So emotional intelligence is not only a learned behavior, but it is also observational behavior. And since it is the observational behavior, we do not need a teacher, or rather we do not get a teacher or a person who can guide us, who can dictate us, who can tell us that what is or what should be our emotional response to a particular condition. We observe from the surrounding, and through that only we acquaint ourselves. We acquaint ourselves to be socially conformity, to profess social conformity, so that in society our acceptance can be there. कि कहां पे हंसना है, कहां पे रोना है, ये कोई बताता नहीं है। हम देख के ही समझ जाते हैं कि कहां पे हंसना है और कितने अमाउंट में हंसना है, कहां पे रोना है और कितने अमाउंट में रोना है, कहां साथ रहना है, कितने अमाउंट में साथ रहना है। ऐसे से तो किसी के आप शोक सभा में गए हैं, वहां ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आप उठ के हंसने लगे, आप जोक पढ़ के हंसने लगे। ऑलराइट, राहुल गांधी शोक सभा गए, निकाल कर मोबाइल देखने लगे, तो वहां इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस का लैकिंग है। वहां he might not have a good exposure to the idea of emotional intelligence. What he missed out कि कहां पे निकाल के देखना है मोबाइल, कहां नहीं देखना है, he could not get a sense of that. मोबाइल कितना महंगा है। So exactly, so the idea is, this is a learned behavior that we learn from our own surrounding, and for that we do not need a teacher. Rather, we do not need a teacher who teaches us to how to respond or how to show your emotion at a particular point of time in a particular social scenario. Hence, emotional intelligence is not only a learned behavior, but it is also an observational learning behavior. All right, so that you can write the first point. You write, the heading should be how to acquire emotional quotient. How to acquire emotional quotient underestimate the first point. Primarily speaking, EQ is a learning experience. EQ is a learning experiences. EQ is a learning experiences which an individual learns right through the childhood, to the old age stage. Next point, emotional competencies and concepts are learned through role models. Emotional competencies and concepts are learned through role models, that is teachers, parents, celebrities, etc. It is basically an observational learning. And emotional intelligence is developed through social learning process. And emotional intelligence is developed through social learning process. Next point, nobody tells us how to handle ourselves, or handle our interpersonal relationship, how to handle ourselves or handle our interpersonal relationship, but this is something expected to be learnt, by every individual, and use them in personal and professional life. Next point, in the Indian society, knowledge of emotional intelligence is taken for granted in one's life. In other words, No formal education. No formal education or knowledge is given. No formal education or knowledge is given for emotional intelligence. There is no any conscious effort. There is no any conscious effort. There is no any conscious effort to learn emotional intelligence. To learn emotional intelligence. Most of us believe that EQ is something. Most of us believe that EQ is something that one will learn. One will learn anyways with the passage of time. One will learn anyways with the passage of time, and there is no urgent need to acquire. There is no urgent need to acquire it right away. Need to acquire it right away. In other words, we call it maturity. We call it maturity. However, there can be some deliberate process. There can be some deliberate process to make someone acquaint with. There can be some deliberate process to make someone acquaint with ACQUAINT. Acquaint with the idea of emotional intelligence. The idea of emotional intelligence, like teaching children to be emotionally literate. Teaching children to be emotionally literate using a perfect blend of heart and mind, and even increasing group interaction, through social gatherings, and assemblies. Social gatherings and social assemblies. Alright. So for example, in government offices or maybe in any organization, if they arrange the birthday parties, if they arrange the lunch party, if they arrange any sort of social gathering occasions in which one can interact with others, especially the seniors can interact with their subordinates, their juniors, and through that they can actually empathize or they could know about, in fact, the issues and the problems under which the person might have been suffering from. So it actually will give them the idea of empathizing with others. So there should be some platform in which there has to be some healthy and constructive conversations that can take place between the two set of people. And then only there will be a possibility of inculcating emotional intelligence. So as many as you can organize such kind of occasions, there will be a chance of having a very nice Zen among, a nice you can say coordination among all the staff members, all the office members in any particular organization. And that's the reason why we now see today, either the private or the corporate or even the government offices, they keep organizing such kind of events quite frequently. So it actually has some purpose, and the purpose is to know each other, and once you know each other, then only you can actually have a sort of empathy with others, and then only you can develop the idea of emotional intelligence. Alright, that is how emotional intelligence is inculcated. Fine. Now come on the point of utilities of emotional intelligence in various. Next point, right? Utilities of emotional intelligence oblique relevance of emotional intelligence in civil services and in administration. Civil services and in administration. Under this, you write the first point. Emotional intelligence helps in, EI helps in interpersonal relationship and its management. Interpersonal relationship and its management. Interpersonal relationship is a skill or ability. To work effectively. A skill or ability to work effectively through and with other people. It includes a desire to understand others. It includes a desire to understand others, their needs and weaknesses, and their talents and abilities. Their needs and weaknesses, their talents and abilities. In nutshell, interpersonal relationship means connecting with people with whom one is working. Connecting with people with whom one is working. Connecting with people with whom one is working. मतलब जिसके साथ आप काम कर रहे हैं, whether you are able to connect with them or not, because then only you can form a very formidable team. A team can only be formed when there is a proper connection between or among all the players. Either take the example of a cricket team or take the example of any hockey team or any other team which plays a match. So if there is no coordination and connection between the members of a team, the team always loses the match. Despite the team members might be very talented, yet they are unable to give the result every time. It is all because there is no coordination among the team members. So that's what actually is the first point of the utility of emotional intelligence. Second point, EI helps in getting the work. EI helps in, emotional intelligence helps in, emotional intelligence helps in getting the work done. Emotional intelligence helps in getting the work done successfully. Getting the work done successfully, also with an average performance. Successfully also with an average performance, provided the performer is highly motivated. Provided the performer is highly motivated to achieve the objective. Hence, the emotionally intelligent administrators or leaders, hence the emotionally intelligent administrators or leaders can induce desirable responses, in others by using effective diplomacy. Using effective diplomacy, that is, changing one's attitude or behavior in a positive way. That is, changing one's attitude or behavior in a positive way. Changing one's attitude or behavior in a positive way. Fine. So simple सी बात है कि average performance के साथ भी you stand a chance to win any match. So the idea is that even a player who might have started his or her career, if the player gets the unconditional support from the captain to perform up to his or her highest potential, so even an average performer starts giving the result. So it depends upon the intelligent or the emotionally intelligent leaders how to inculcate or how to take the best out of even from the average performer. And there the logic of EI comes into picture. That if you are not EI well trained, then definitely you will be having a tough problem in dealing with those average performers who perhaps might not be highly motivated to perform in any organization. So that's the reason why it is essential requirement, utility of EI is seen even in the organizational setup as well. Fine. Thirdly, you write, EI also helps in EI also helps in making a person a strong mind mapper. Making a person a strong mind mapper. The strong mind mapper. मतलब वो दूसरे व्यक्ति को उसके हाव भाव से, उसके फेशियल, उसके बॉडी पोस्चर से, एक्सप्रेशन से वो ये रीड आउट कर ले कि क्या एग्जैक्टली पॉसिबली इसके दिमाग में या इसके अंदर चल रहा हो, and accordingly he or she will have to orient his entire conversation. Alright, that's what actually emotionally intelligent person is always having a strong quality of a mind mapper. Alright, so at this point, further in this point only, EI intelligent person or EI emotionally intelligent person understands others well, and it plays a key factor. Others well, अच्छे से समझता है दूसरे को, understand others well, WELL well, and plays a key factor in the development of effectual communication. Key factor in the development of effectual communication. It also helps in developing emotional intelligence. Also helps in developing. It also helps in developing talent in others. Talent in others in a team by the words of encouragement and appreciation. By the words of encouragement and appreciation. Fourthly, last point, it also helps in the goal achievement. It also helps in the goal achievement. It also helps in the goal achievement. People having strong bonding with group members. People having strong bonding. People having strong bonding with group members are proven to be more successful in leading the team and accomplishing collective and shared goals. Collective and shared goals. Collective and shared goals. For example, Mahendra Singh Dhoni in Indian cricket team. MS Dhoni in Indian cricket team. Or any political leader who leads a political parties having having lakhs and millions of members. Having lakhs and millions of members. Dashboard, right? Besides all these utilities, EI has a specific role. Besides all these utilities, EI has a specific role in civil service and in administration. In civil service and in administration, civil service today work in an environment of facing numerous problems and challenges. And contradictions such as a fast changing social structure and values. B. Fast changing social structure and values. B. Increased awareness of the masses. As well as existence of significant number of voiceless and marginalized poor people. And at times the masses resorting to violence. And disturbance to public order. So the idea is, what kind of changes the civil service of India is facing currently? Changes can be seen in every aspect, in every domain. We have been observing changes in society. We have equally been witness the change in economy and as well as in the political structure. So everywhere we are witnessing some or the other degree of changes in our surrounding. So be it society, economy and polity, we have found changes everywhere, or we are finding changes everywhere. For example, in social context, changes is quite visible in our social context because now the social values, norms, structure is highly changing. Now corruption has become a social accepted practice by everyone. So we have lost, or we are losing slowly and gradually the value system from our country. So that is one very easy noticeable change that we can easily observe in our surrounding. Secondly, we can also see the change in the degree of awareness, or level of awareness among the masses. Now it is an era of digital technology. Now in the era of digital technology, the masses have got a real empowerment in the form of having the smartphones. So the smartphones have become not only a source of telecommunication but also a source of information. Now information which might be vested, which might not be vested. So any kind of information can also be imparted, can also be given through this all social networking sites which is available there on the smartphone. So in the era of rising awareness, increasing awareness, it has increased the challenges for bureaucracy and civil service, that's one thing. It has also helped the bureaucracy in delivering the services, but at the same time, it has equally has been responsible in increasing the challenges. On the other hand, we still have a significant number of population which is still voiceless, who are still unheard of, whose voices are still not heard by the politicians or either by the people who are sitting in Delhi, who are the policymakers in Delhi. So we have still a huge population whose voices, whose aspirations have gone unheard of. Hence, we need to also devise a strategy to look after these people. So social changes is also happening simultaneously with economic and political changes. Now what is there in economic change? You write next one. Increasing regional economic digital divide, increasing regional economic and digital divide, rising population and unemployment have also created a pressure on civil service. Pressure on civil service to deliver the goods. Besides the widespread use of information technology, has acted as two-edged sword for bureaucracy or civil service. Has acted as two-edged sword for bureaucracy, double-edged sword दो धार तलवार, double-edged sword to civil service, because at one hand it has helped the government in public delivery system. On the other hand, it has put pressure on the government It has put pressure on the government to perform effectively. To perform effectively. To perform effectively. Next point. Besides socio-economic changes or socio-economic factors, besides socio-economic factors, the political factors are also playing a significant role on pressurizing civil services. Such as one, the 73rd, 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. The 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act led to the creation of a new class of politicians, over the civil services. Alright, तो मुखिया आ गए, पंचायत सिस्टम आ गया, कॉर्पोरेटर साहब आ गए, alright, तो म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेटर साहब भी आ गए, तो ये थर्ड टियर जो स्ट्रक्चर था, उससे हुआ क्या कि we actually started getting another pressure on bureaucracy from these all politicians. ठीक है, so politicians versus civil service started happening on this ground level also. Then B, or second point, the role of civil society in governance. The role of civil society in governance. The role of civil society in governance and people's participation has got enhanced recently. See, similarly, there is a rising demand for good governance. Which has led to the entry of corporate and private sectors, minimizing the role of state. Minimizing the role of state. With paragraph change, right? Last but not the least, the administration itself, the administration itself is facing many problems like political pressures, rampant corruption, many problems like political pressures, rampant corruption, obsolete and outdated methods, procedures and laws, over centralization, self-aggrandizement, the self-appreciation. Self-appreciation, etc. Thus, a civil servant needs to be emotionally intelligent to adjust and effectively serve in the system by or through the skill of emotional intelligence. It helps civil service in achieving amicable work environment, enhancing the performance of individual workers, and in improvement of organizational performance. This paragraph shall be read. Similarly, in any kind of administration, be it public or private, there is a relevancy of emotional intelligence. Administration is defined as the capacity to get the things done. capacity to get things done, and it depends on good relationship. It depends on good relationship between employees and the management. Between employees and the management. Hence, the interpersonal relationship are absolutely essential. The interpersonal relationships are essentially or absolutely essential to connect the employers with the employees, the employers with the employees. Hence, the skills of emotional intelligence, the skill of emotional intelligence is highly required to work in a team, to achieve the organizational objectives. To work in a team to achieve the organizational objectives, and for which empathy, that is ability to sense, empathy, that is the ability to sense, how others people feel, is an essential component for emotional intelligence. You write a case study here. You belong to a rural area. Case study. You belong to a rural area and take admission in a city college. You belong to a rural area and take admission in a city college. You find your classmates. Taunting on you, taunting on you on not being so smart, and unable to speak English, How will you manage yourself? So how do you manage yourself? कैसे मैनेज करेंगे अपने आप को आप लोग? किन लोगों के साथ ऐसा दिक्कत रहा या हुआ? ऐसा कोई जो उसको ऐसा कुछ फेस करना पड़ा हो? नहीं, सब कुछ नॉर्मल। सपोज कीजिए ऐसा फेस करना पड़ा तो what would be your response?
Mentally strong रहेंगे, mentally strong और ये उसको एक opportunity accept करके कि ये मेरे लिए opportunity है learn करने के लिए जो नहीं आता वो enjoy करेंगे।
Sir, interaction between student जहाँ पढ़ते हैं वहाँ से बातचीत करें क्या प्रॉब्लम है उसको सॉर्ट आउट करें और उसके बाद जैसे जो प्रॉब्लम हो रही है स्पीकिंग की
किससे करेंगे? जो वही जो आपको चिढ़ा रहे हैं या जो आपको मना कर रहे हैं
जो उड़ा रहे हैं सर
उनसे बात करेंगे? वो कहेंगे मैं बात नहीं करना चाहता हूँ तो
अपने स्ट्रेंथ पे फोकस करेंगे जैसे मैथ्स में अच्छा है तो आगे बढ़े और अपने लोग आए कोई तो
So you try to exploit others' disadvantage. Okay. So since they have exploited your disadvantage, you will also wait for exploiting their disadvantage. And that's another emotional intelligence, of course. Or anything else?
अपनी performance से जवाब देंगे।
तो उसको एक्सप्लॉइट मजाक भी
अच्छा। और कुछ? हाँ, so उससे सिर्फ सही कि अपने स्ट्रेंथ पे काम करेंगे। What was the argument? You will work upon your strength. What's the strength? That's what is the point.
सर जो वीकनेस है उसको सर दूर करेंगे
सर
हाँ, so जो weakness है उसको हम दूर करेंगे. That's the emotional intelligence basically. So a very irrational mind will react by even scolding them, or might be having some hot discussion with them. Alright, an irrational mind or maybe a highly emotional mind might involve in a hot discussion with the people who might have taunted on his or her weaknesses. But a rational mind, which is an emotional, intelligent mind, will start working upon those areas of weaknesses which might have been an issue of the taunting done by the classmates. So, it is something which can be learned. So, behaving smartly, nicely, with the English speaking ability, these are learned behaviors which you, me and anyone else can also learn it easily. So definitely the emotionally intelligent person's response would be slightly different. The response will be to act upon their weaknesses, try to eliminate those weaknesses which might have been an issue of taunting. And I have several examples to quote in front of you. Several. One of the examples I can give you from our own surrounding. You might be knowing, some of you might be also very familiar with a name called Atom, sir. Alright. So Shashank Atom, sir, he used to teach geography earlier, but now he does not teach. Probably he teaches very lesser number of chapters. So he was one of the students in Delhi University, and he faced this problem of not having very finest, of course, learning of English speaking. So he decided to learn English, speak English, and also interact with the other people, other classmates in English itself. So he once narrated this issue, alright, and some of his friends, he narrated this issue about Shashank himself, how he actually learned this entire matter during his entire journey of his education. And of course today he is known as one of the finest speakers among the teaching faculties in Mukherjee Nagar or Rajanagar area. So I don't know how many of you have ever heard him. I have had one of the opportunities to listen to him maybe in 2005 or 6, I remember. He actually had opened a session for the people who are going to prepare for interview session or interview in fact stage. So we all attended. He is one of his lectures. So his lecture was very soothing, very nice, oriented, in a rhythmic manner, linked with each and every sentence, linked with each other very nicely. And I would rate him one of the finest speakers as far as the teaching faculties in civil services concerned. So this is one example, that is a real life example for you. There can be a lot of examples which can be quoted here. You get this cultural shock. We all get a cultural shock if we belong to a rural background and come to an urban area to either profess our education or maybe profess our any service. We get this cultural shock because in rural areas a lot of things are not easily available, whereas in urban areas the things are easily observable and available. But how to respond there, that is actually the exercise of emotionally intelligent person. For example, in my case, I can give you some examples, real life examples. In my case, when I came to Delhi in 1998, in Delhi University, for me it was completely a shocking experience to see my classmates, happen to be girls, smoking very comfortably, very openly in front of us. Rather, me and others were shy, having never done this smoking exercise, so shy even in watching them, smoking so confidently in front of us. So of course, it was a shocking experience. So if we would not have been so emotionally intelligent person, perhaps we would have asked, or we might have also gone into some hotel exchange with those girls as well. अगर हम बहुत ज़्यादा जो कह सकते हैं कि सोविनिस्टिक प्रवृत्ति के लोग होते हैं तो हम उनको क्या समझाते हैं कि लड़कियां ये काम नहीं करती है, how dare you smoke in front of us. Alright, but it was emotionally intelligent in understanding this reality. You have to accept it. We can't do much on this. It's a personal choice. So we had to adjust in that environment, respecting our feeling with their feeling. Our feeling that yes, I do not like smoking, but I was not imposing my liking upon her, or rather I was not getting influenced by her liking upon me. So I knew about my emotions, that my emotions suggest that I should not smoke. So I respect my emotions, I will never smoke. But at the same time, I cannot impose my emotions or my belief on her by stopping forcefully or by any other means to her not to smoke. But definitely whenever there would be a conversation or rather an open conversation on the benefits of smoking or not benefits of smoking, then definitely I will try to give some reasons, which I did try to give some reasons that why one should not smoke. And I gave very solid reason at that point of time. A Delhiite does not need to smoke because already we are living in smoke. But today at least you don't find that kind of environment. Still, the air pollution is very high in Delhi. But in 1998, we didn't have the CNG buses. Either CNG was there, nor any other mode of transportation was there. The buses were completely either Blue Line or GTC, which were all run through diesel engine. So the moment you would have come out on the road and streets, and if you stay there for let's say a couple of hours itself, your white shirt would have been transformed into a grey shirt, alright, and your entire hair would have been transformed into some laborer sort of hair where you have all the dust lying in your hairs. Alright, so the idea was that kind of environment in which we have been living. So I used to give this reason only that why a Delhiite needs to smoke, because we are already smoking a lot of things from the environment itself. So rather to have one more smoke, it's better that you can smoke on the road, go to the street and you smoke the entire air itself. So the idea was this is how we had to adjust. Of course it was a cultural shock with us, undoubtedly, but still we did not let our cultural shock to rule our mind in terms of forcing or rather threatening or rather giving any sort of strong word to her not to smoke. Alright, because that was her cultural upbringing in which she was comfortable with. That was my cultural upbringing which I was not comfortable with, yet I had to adjust in that scenario. Fine, but at the same time, I did not stop here. I did not stop here because an emotionally intelligent person needs to be also smart enough to change other person's negative attitude towards a positive attitude. So since I knew that this smoking perhaps might not be healthier for her in long run, so at least it is my duty and it's my responsibility to keep convincing her through various means for not to smoke so frequently. Alright. But कुछ मेरे दोस्त थे, they were very fond of smoking. They were smoking together very nicely. I have no problem.
Sir, I have some apprehension on working on this weakness area. For example, I have this language problem in English is a common language which we use, and there is another concept of cultural appropriation. I don't want to get into that thing. And I don't want to learn Hindi.
Okay.
Certainly.
Right.
And I don't want people to see me as a Hindi speaker. That is another case for me.
Right.
So in this case, working on my weakness will it do?
No, the idea is perhaps even if you do not speak Hindi, it does not offend the society in that way. If you don't speak English, then only society starts discriminating against you in that way. So since you are comfortable in speaking in English, so for you it will not be having any problem like that.
But I cannot rule out that tauntingness now. I mean, people told me because I have excellent Hindi.
No, definitely people might have been taunting you, that's for sure. So then you will have a second strategy. A second strategy suggests that ignore them. So that's a very obvious strategy, that if something is not going in your favor, then you should actually ignore them.
No, which one has better with this? That's what I want to know.
Look, idea is anything that can be learned, and you should not carry any fixed situation or other fixation in your mind that I cannot learn it. If I am given a chance to learn even Korean language, I learn it. I have no reservations in not learning Korean language. So the point is that even if you're given a chance to learn any language, it's always good. It's always good, it will enhance your own personality.
Because language gives you the first instance to connect with someone. Alright? And of course, emotional intelligence, it is the same thing. Language will play a very significant role in emotional intelligence. That is the reason why normally we do have two cadres of bureaucracy. One is all India service, second is the regional service. It is all because of this language connectivity. A person from Bihar might not be suitable in serving in Tamil Nadu because he might not be very fluent in speaking Tamil. That's the reason why Tamil Nadu do have their own home cadre of officers. Alright, so that's what actually is the point. So language always play a very significant role in connecting with the people, and hence a person who knows a lot of languages always excel in every aspect of life. Okay, that's what actually is the mantra of success. Fine. So of course the point that you raised, that at times you also feel that you cannot learn something just because that you should not get taunted by someone. So the better aspect is either to ignore them or shout back at them and ask them, mind your own business.
No, I asked them to speak one Manipuri alphabet and they would never be able to pronounce that alphabet.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
not. That's
Okay.
one tough
Yeah.
task.
Okay. Okay. No, it happens. I mean, the idea is it is applied to everyone. It is applied to even to a student who belongs to Bihar, a student who belongs to UP. They also have a different type of accent. Alright? They have a different type of accent. Liar. So liar ka ho, to lawyer liar. Alright. So they have a different type of accent. So people from UP will have a different type of accent. So it is there. It will always be there. So you have a specific accent because of your reason. Does not bring any sort of discrimination against you. Alright. So it hardly matters if some of the accent might not be very comfortable for others. Alright. But still, I mean, the accent also differs between Americans and English. Alright. If the same statement will be stated by Donald Trump, he will speak like wow 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 wow. Alright. So of course, because he is Donald, so Donald is a duck. So duck will speak like wow 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 type thing. Alright. But if it is spoken by someone else from England, so he will speak like very small movement of lips will be said there. And Chinese will also not even so the movement of your lips. So that's what actually is the difference between the accent of a person from one particular region. So that will always be there. That will always be there. So for that, we should not actually feel any time or any point of time any sort of discrimination or any sort of, you can say, disadvantage. Alright. So that is the point. Okay?
So, with regard to that, I need to speak. Should I? So means with regard to the question that you are doing, so it's a minor sense of bullying. A minor sense of bullying, a sense of superiority is imposed on that boy. So, prima facie, he can ignore that, but ignoring at that age in which he's a teenager, it will be tough for him. So he can go for counseling for with his parents, with his teachers, or with his seniors. And regarding culture, because he's being taunted for not being smart. Smart in the sense he may not be having a sense of fashion, because generally people who are from...
Smart simply means the same example which I give you from my own experience.
Okay,
if I would not have been smart, what I would have done at that point of time, मैं वहाँ चला जाता। वो कहता है ना गंदी लड़कियाँ हैं, ये बात है। I would have gone from there and would have said, no, they are dirty girls, I will not talk to them. So that is not there. The point is, we need to actually understand how to, act smart and behave smartly. Okay? So that's the point. So smartness in that sense.
Okay, sir. So, and if the conditions agree, in that case, he can complain also. Because this is the point when a person makes his career.
Correct.
And out of these things, his confidence can be broken. And if his confidence can be shattered at that point of time, it will be very tough for him to get back into life or do something what he wants to do.
Correct.
So further regarding English is not an evidence of talent. So he must focus on the skills which he needs to acquire. English is something a secondary sort of thing. So if he needs to learn English for moving ahead in life, it's well. Else he must focus on the skills that are required at that point of time. So the way he will respond, so that thing matters.
No, definitely there could be four possible options with this particular person who is in this case study. One option, as you guys have already identified, that he will take up this challenge and he will always have a spirit of fighting back. Alright, which I already spoke to all of you yesterday. That you become difficult to your difficulties. You become more difficult than your difficulties. So that should be the teaching of emotional intelligence to the children. Alright? So here, that spirit of fighting back should be there. Fine, that's one exercise, and that's one option is there. Second option is absolutely in the context of he or she can shout back and ask them that mind your own business and just do what you're doing, but you have no right to actually question my accent or my language. That is another response that he or she can give. Alright? The third response can also be that ignore them. Alright? You will keep getting such kind of comments at different point of time from different people in your life. So just ignore them, move away or move ahead, in fact. Alright? That's the third option. The fourth option, that will be quite defeating one, a discouraging one, that you will say, no, I will not study in city, I will go back to my village only. And perhaps the village is the finest place where I can learn anything. So that could be the fourth option with an individual. That he or she cannot survive, or cannot actually acquaint himself or herself in that environment, cannot adapt himself or herself in that environment, and he finally quits and says that I will go back to my village. Now, this is a dangerous condition. This is a dangerous condition. Why? Because there could be two thinkings that can come to an individual when he actually decides to quit. One, to quit the life itself, and to quit the place itself. So the idea is the person who does not have the agility to fight back, they commit suicides, and that is dangerous. That is dangerous because there the emotional intelligence is almost missing. Is almost missing, and hence we need to train our children to be strong enough on emotional intelligence. Fine, that's the point. Alright. So that is all about emotional intelligence. Fine. If you have, as I told you, that the question, if you see, the question that was asked to you in 2013 was, what is emotional intelligence and how can it be developed in people? So what is emotional intelligence and how can it be developed in people? That was the first part of the question. Second part of the question was, how does it help an individual in taking ethical decisions? So how emotional intelligence can help an individual in taking ethical decisions? So क्या लिखेंगे इसमें? पहला पार्ट में क्या लिखेंगे पहले वो बता दीजिए. So what is the first part? First part is saying what is emotional intelligence. Second part is saying how can it be developed among people. How it can be developed among people, and third part is saying how it can help people in taking ethical decisions. Now, in three parts, the question was asked. This question was asked in UPSC mains. (2013).
Now you can see first part is easy. Alright, now you know what is emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence is an ability to know your emotions, of course understanding others' emotions, and then trying to empathize with others to make a balance between or to exercise the interpersonal skill in the environment or in the scenario. So it is basically a concept of interpersonal skill. Fine. Then how it can be developed?
Situation learning.
So it is a learned behavior. Through that you can write the examples and all those things, you can explain it. Then how it can help people in taking ethical decisions. Now what will be the point here? Ethical decisions.
As empathy is developed.
Pardon?
Empathy. Empathy developed.
Emotional intelligence will
Helping develop empathy with others.
empathy with others. Okay, fine. That's one angle that you can explain here.
So ethical decisions का थोड़ा लिखेंगे कि
हाँ.
which is in larger interest of the environment.
Hmm.
तो उसमें हम लिखेंगे emotional intelligence में हमारे it does not allow our emotion to be heavy on us and to take a rational decision. For example, social changes हो रहे हैं तो old age people को नहीं अच्छा लगता dresses and all.
ठीक है.
So they are emotional intelligent to accept.
ठीक है. ठीक है. Anything else?
Ethical
So that is one example.
Maintaining harmony. And also they also advise and for making a decent dress. They also
Okay.
सर वो लास्ट वाला बताया था।
हाँ. तो सोचवाएगा असल में
यस सर।
क्या बताइए?
जैसे सर बहुत सारे हमने कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट बनाए हैं।
हाँ.
उसके अकॉर्डिंग ही करना चाहिए। जैसे क्रिमिनल एक्ट जो है उसको मैं एक्सप्लेन करूँगा।
हाँ.
हमें डिसिप्लिनरी कैसे हमें डिसीजन लेना चाहिए इन लॉ जो बनाया गया है उसके अकॉर्डिंग ही लेना चाहिए।
ठीक है. मैं एग्जांपल देता हूँ या आपको कहूँगा सोचिए एग्जांपल. But you all will have to think from your own personal life. Your own personal life. At how many occasions have you applied emotional intelligence in taking any ethical decision? Taking any ethical decision. For example, मैं आपको example देता हूँ. You might have been crossing a road, might have visited a market. You might have seen a old aged woman or man might be sitting on the side of the street and begging. You might have seen a person who might be highly disabled, of course in old age, might be also begging. Now to support beggars by giving the alms, money, alms, which we call alms or alms, money will be legally wrong because begging is an illegal activity. So it will be legally wrong because you are promoting begging in the system, in the scenario. But on the other hand, you have other dilemma that he or she is an old age man, perhaps having some bodily deformity as well, not able to even move properly, and needs some money to survive. Then how can I use my emotional intelligence to address this ethical dilemma? Now, dilemma for me is to either I should help them or her or him, or should not help because begging is not appreciated. And we should not let beggars to beg on the street. We should not give any single rupee to the beggars on the street. because it will reinforce them or reinforce the same behavior into them, and they will keep continuing being only on the streets. Then how can I handle my ethical decisions or ethical dilemma by using emotional intelligence? So I can handle it by not offering that person direct money. I can purchase a packet of biscuit or maybe bun or bread, maybe some food items which are readily available to be ate by that person. Or either if he needs some medical treatment, so I'll ask him to come to the nearby place where the clinic is available or medicine store is available, and from there I'll get some medicine to offer him or her. So that is emotional intelligence. Like protecting the dilemma of not helping a poor, because it will reinforce. Not helping the poor by offering money, actually it will reinforce in them the begging exercise. So I have protected that dilemma. At the same time, I have also ensured the element of social justice. So social justice should not get compromised. Alright? Now that is emotional intelligence. Since you have put yourself in the foot of that individual, but at the same time you are a rational mind, you are not only emotional mind. You put yourself, you empathize with him or her, but at the same time you also keep this thing in your notion that no, I should not be an agent of promoter of such kind of activity. Yet I have to help him or her. How? See, empathize, and just to introspect what exactly is the need of that individual immediately. Whenever I find a person who is healthy, quite young also, being on the street, I do ask him that come to my office, I'll give you a job. Come to my office, I'll give you a job. You work there, you get a salary. Do not beg. He runs away. He can't Gandhi ji aage raste mein. So he runs away. He immediately runs away. I find children begging on the street. I say, why are you begging on the street? Come with me, I'll enroll you some school where you will get the meal also regular basis. He runs away, she runs away immediately. No, I love her. So the idea is that this is a perfect case where you have been applying your emotional intelligence to sort out your ethical dilemmas. That is at personal level. Now you think from a level of a bureaucrat. Now once you become a bureaucrat, then how will you be able to handle the situation of ethical decisions with the use of